Hello, and thank you for joining me here in this session to learn more about AppSource. My name is Yvonne Harloff, and I'm Director for Product Marketing for AppSource. So before I get started, I would like to understand if you're familiar with AppSource already. So if you could raise your hand, please, if you know AppSource, have tried an app on AppSource before? Okay, thanks a lot. So what is AppSource? So AppSource is Microsoft's destination for business users to find and try line of business SaaS applications. Applications that work on Microsoft products that you might already use. And why is that important? Why is SaaS so important? And I would like to share some data points with you before showing you some details and a demo of AppSource. Forrester has done some research earlier this year, and they have just published a report in June 2017 of the adoption of SaaS applications. And what they have found is that the adoption of SaaS applications is still accelerating and is going beyond traditional workloads that organizations have moved into the cloud, which are, for example, HR or CRM. So if you take a look at those data points here, you can see that the blue bars is the revenue that software vendors have or are expected to get. The 2017 data is data that is being estimated by Forrester. You can see that the license revenue from cloud applications, from subscriptions, is in 2017 expected to bypass the traditional license revenue. So really seeing here, there is more and more organizations move to SaaS applications as it is a foundation and it helps organizations with their digital transformation. So looking at the different workloads that are moving to the cloud, as already mentioned, CRM is one that has been used in the cloud. Also, HR management, you can see, is bypassing the traditional revenue by far. But then also desktop and collaboration applications and others are now really moving to the cloud. So earlier this year, we also engaged and worked with Forrester to do a study of business users, business decision makers, and Forrester did survey 550 decision makers around the world and asked them about their point of view on marketplaces where they can find applications. And this is what we found. Out of the people that we interviewed, and they all were positive to the cloud. So if somebody said, I can't use the cloud, they were not included in the survey. But out of the ones that are open to the cloud, 91% say it's important, or they have a cloud-first strategy. So organizations are now getting all in. It's not that they have some workloads in the cloud, and the Forrester data points that I showed earlier really support that. Then asking about, are people actually happy on how they currently try and find applications, and more than half of them said they're looking for new ways to do that, easier ways to try an application. And because there has been some dissatisfaction in how to find applications and maybe IT were not able to support them, actually 78% have already tried an app without IT's support. And I think it's super important to make sure that when people in an organization are trying an application from a marketplace, that we feel like it's a marketplace where the information and the applications have been tested. And then all of them actually said that they see the marketplaces as really important. So it was like approximately 80%, dependent on the workload and the area that they're working on, thought it was super important to have a marketplace where they can continuously improve their business processes, become more efficient, more productive. So at the end of the survey, Forrester estimated that the application marketplace adoption will rise from 29% to 75% in the next 2 years. Then we also asked, why are actually people looking at application marketplaces? And they're really looking for flexibility. They see that a lot of changes are happening in their organization. Maybe IT is not really always able to support them right away. They're looking for flexibility. Business users know the business challenges they have, and they want to have a first look at the application. Now, in the surveys, the business users did not indicate at all that they don't want IT to be involved. They actually would like IT to be more involved, but they want to have an upfront flexibility. And then help to innovate, right? Innovation is a really big driver for SaaS application marketplaces, and the need for them actually to be able to evaluate the application upfront, because they feel like they know their business challenges most. And then what would they like to get out of a marketplace and the apps that they're finding there? For cost savings was a big reason why. Increased productivity, and then also improve the customer experience. So if you would like to read more about this survey, the study is available. There's a blog on Microsoft AppSource blog infrastructure, so you can dive more into the details of that survey if you would like to find out more. So in order to help organizations with their digital transformation and easily have access to SaaS applications, we created AppSource to actually help business user who is looking for solutions to address business challenges, but then also to help our partners, our ISVs who build these solutions, to actually make them more easily discoverable by organizations around the world. And then to help organizations then later on also implement and also help to assess applications and solutions, we want to make sure that implementation partners can also help and provide their consulting services in one place. And so AppSource combines all that, so it really makes sure that the business users and the ISVs and the implementation partners can connect. So for the business user to easily find and try an app, for the ISV to reach more organizations, and then for the implementation partner to assist with the implementation. So we launched AppSource last year in July, and since then we have seen a lot of momentum. 2,700 apps are now available in AppSource, and they are across multiple Microsoft products. Of course, there are web applications, but then there's also applications that work and are built on Dynamics 365. There's applications and add-ins for Office 365, Power BI, and applications that are built on Cortana Intelligence, and so on. So it's a huge spectrum of apps that the business user can find. So more than 1,400 ISVs have joined and have published their applications. And then, who are the users that are coming to AppSource? Well, so we have added all applications, add-ins for Office 365. That means that 100 million monthly commercial active users for Office 365, when they go to the store, the Office store, they will now end on AppSource, where they see a pre-filtered view of add-ins for Office 365, but they can also then find other apps that help them with productivity. And then 90% of Fortune 500 companies are using the Microsoft Cloud, and of course we also enable them, the business users there, to then find applications on AppSource. And here is just a representation of what we mean when we say business applications that work with what you have. Obviously, as I mentioned, some are built on the Azure platform, web apps. They could be built using the common application platforms such as Power Apps or Microsoft Flow, or then extend Office 365, Power BI, or Dynamics 365. So our partner ecosystem, they're building applications on top of that, maybe for specific vertical needs or industry needs, and then they are all available on Microsoft AppSource. So what we really try to help, and I mentioned that earlier, for the business user is to discover an application, then try it, and then easily get it, to really help an organization to reduce the time to value. And let's take a look at those 3 different areas: how to discover, try, and get an application. And let's start with how do we help business users to discover the applications. So of course, a business user can go to www.appsource.com and can start searching for applications. But we also make it easy for the business user to find the applications in context of what they're doing. So for example, let's say I'm a Office 365 user, and I go to the Office 365 app launcher, I go to the store, and I land on AppSource, and it actually shows me pre-filled apps on applications that I'm using. Or let's say I'm a Dynamics 365 user, or maybe I'm not using it yet, but I'm just doing a trial. There is the Dynamics 365 in-app gallery that allows me to actually see applications that work with the Dynamics 365 app that I'm using. So it really helps me to easily find apps that I can use to extend my existing processes. And then if I'm a Power BI user, there's the in-app gallery where I can find additional content packs that help me easily start and connect with existing SaaS services that I'm already using. I can find now even custom visuals or Power BI solutions. So really an easy way for me as a user to find applications. Then, once I have found the application, we offer 3 different types of experiences. So first, here is the HR Dynamics HR management example. And here, this application runs on Dynamics 365. And I have 2 ways to try the application. One would be to enable a test environment, a trial, that I have to install on top of my Dynamics 365 installation that I already have. Now, I might not be a user of Dynamics 365 yet, or it might be too complicated for me to do that, and I want to get started quickly. So with that, we have introduced Test Drive, and Test Drive is a pre-configured environment. It has all the demo data set up. It includes Dynamics 365. It might also include other products that I can use and try the entire end-to-end scenario just with a pre-configured environment. So it's very, very easy to start, and I'm going to show you an example later, and then try and find out if it's right for me. Or a free trial. Free trial here, AvePoint Citizen Services. It's a web application. I can simply log on, and I can try the experience and find out if it's right for me. Then the third option is a Contact Me, where it's a partner-led trial. So the trial is not readily available for me to try, but I can contact a partner, and they will walk me through their test experience. So they have a test environment set up, but I have to contact the partner first. So let's take a look at the experience. So this is AppSource, if you haven't seen it, and it allows me to easily filter on specific applications that I'm looking for. So example, let's say I'm looking for financial services application, and I really need to do, and I really want to increase and improve my customer experience. Maybe I want to predict some actions and find out, how can I better serve my customers? I want to predict what they are looking for. And there I find VeryPark next best action. And I can click on this. And here I see additional information about the application. I can read through the description. I can even watch a video to learn more. Or I can access more marketing material that help me understand what this application is about. Now, once I have read that, and I feel like this is really a great application that would help me, so I can start the free trial. So what has to happen is every time I start an application trial, I need to sign in with my Azure Active Directory. So I have done that already. You see that I am connected here already, and I now provide the approval that Microsoft and the partner can later on contact me, and I can access the trial experience. So I do that, continue, and it's taking me to the trial experience. So it's setting up my user account, allows me to connect to the experience. And it's loading here. And what you can see here, VeryPark has provided not only a trial experience, but also an experience that is tailored for a certain vertical within financial services. So I could be a retail banker. I could be a commercial bank, or I could be in the insurance business. And within those verticals, I can then, scroll through those different trial experiences depending on who I am. Maybe I'm interested in customer service, or maybe I'm a bank teller. There's multiple different examples that I can try. So I can scroll through these. Here is a really nice dashboard that helps me to get insights. Or here, this is a specific application that helps me manage prospective customers. And what's happening now, it's actually opening a Power App. So Power Apps now starts, and I can either use a experience that walks me through the different steps. So it's basically guided. So I can use this guided experience. It helps me to really walk through the different steps. Or I can basically just end the experience and try the app myself. So it really allows me, based on my role, find out what the application is. In the meantime, my contact information has been sent to the partner as well, and they will usually send out an email to me to give more information and ask me if I need more help. So that's one experience. The other experience, as I mentioned previously, is I'm a Dynamics 365 user. So I have here an experience. I don't have many apps installed yet, but I'm ready to load more. And I want to learn more about applications that I can use. So here directly in Dynamics 365, I can actually click here and say, find more apps that work with what I'm using already. So now I'm seeing all these Dynamics 365 for sales apps, and I can simply start searching for something that helps me with project management. So I start typing project, and here I find one example here, one app that is also built on Dynamics 365, and I have now two options. I can try a free trial, which requires that I have Dynamics 365 somewhere that I can add it to, or I can try a test drive. And what it also provides me here actually is a way to, what are actually other people saying about this app? Who has tried that before? Did they like it? And I can see the app has received very positive feedback, and I could either start a trial, but I don't want to take this extra step right now, so I start with a test drive. Now, as I mentioned before, the test drive has been set up, and I've previously started that. And it's going to be available for the business user for a certain period of time. Usually, it's between 1 and 3 hours that the environment is available. And it's loading right now. And then also provides me with a pre-configured environment. And it will guide me through the different steps. But I can also close down the different steps and can start using the application on my own. So as it starts loading up now, it starts actually with, hey, would you like to watch a video first? Well, I like to get started, so I just skip that. Now you get a really nice entry, like a really nice dashboard, and it walks me through the different charts here. So the first one focuses on the Project Gantt chart. The next one focuses on how employees can actually then enter their time entries. And the next one then starts me with the approval manager. And at any time, I can then drill into the details and find out what the experience is. So it's loading up here right now, and then I can continue to use the guided experience. Or I could at any time just start exploring the application myself. So it's taking a while here to load, but once it's loaded, you can see existing time entries, existing expense entries, and I can filter and sort and approve the ones or disapprove the ones that I might have approved in error. Okay, it looks like that. The network is a little slow today, but it's coming up right now, so you see that would be the expenses that I could then approve or the time entries. But let's go back and take a look at, so that was the test drive experience, so really easy for me to try. But let's take a look at some other, go back to the presentation here. So this was the trial experience, really helping organizations find the app. And once they have identified an app that they would like to learn more about, they can then get started with the application by connecting with the ISV or work with an implementation partner by contacting the partner that is listed on the app or by working with a consulting services partner. And earlier this week, we actually announced the availability of consulting services offerings, which means that implementation partners can now provide pre-configured consulting services and make them available for business users to find. So consulting services offers are quality consulting services offerings, and what I mean by that is it means that the partner has to have certain competencies. They must have proven that they know the product that they offer consulting services for. And they need to be predefined engagements that are fixed in scope. So really making it easy for the business user to identify, okay, I am just learning more about the application, maybe do an assessment to figure out if the application that I'm interested in is really a fit. So it's predefined, and there's a fixed scope, and it's offered by a partner with a proven expertise, and at this time, it's for Dynamics 365, Power BI, Power Apps, and Microsoft Flow applications. It's currently available in the US, and we're planning to expand to Canada and the UK in October, and we will add more countries as implementations partners submit their services. So consulting services offerers need to fit into one of those 5 buckets. So there could be briefings, so that's an introduction to a solution or consulting service. Could be an assessment. Does the application fit my needs? Maybe you have other needs that I have not identified yet. A workshop, hands-on experience, or proof of concept. So it's a limited implementation to really find out if the application is what you're looking for, or an implementation. Now, implementations with fixed price and a scope, they're usually for projects that are 1 week or less. The ones that we have published already, many of them are free or fixed priced. They have a fixed duration and a predefined scope and a predefined outcome. But the goal is to really make it easy for organizations to get started with an experienced partner that's near them. Most of those offerings have to be conducted on site. And then again, start with confidence. You know that those partners have proven that they have product expertise by having achieved certain competencies or by already having solutions published for Power BI and Power Apps. So let's take a look what that looks like. So how can you find those consulting services, right? You might not be aware that they're on AppSource. How do we make it easy? So if I'm on Power BI and I'm looking for a partner, I can now find consulting services. Directly from the website, I can find the consulting services that are available in the United States for Power BI. Or if I'm interested in Dynamics 365 and I want to know how can I get started, how can I find consulting services that an experienced partner is offering, I can explore consulting services right here from the website. So I browse consulting services here. It takes me to AppSource, pre-selected Dynamics 365, and now maybe I was interested in finance and operations. Here there is a assessment workshop that an organization is offering here, and I can also watch a video, I can learn out more. Maybe they have a case study that they did already or a marketing brochure, so I can learn more about that. Then I can contact them. Contact them also, send my information to them, and then they will get back to me. But it's a really nice way to get started, to find an experienced partner that can help you learn more about the application. Okay, so that concludes the demo of AppSource. And I'd like to share with you actually a customer story. So Gering Technologies is a machine manufacturer that's based in Germany. And they are actually an organization that's innovative. They have really sophisticated technology, and they deliver and build these machines for organizations around the world. But the challenge that they had in the marketing team and the projects that they were running, and you can imagine there are projects that run for a year, many months. They didn't have tools that were connected. So they had disconnected manual tools to manage their customer data and the projects and the service requests that they had to manage once the machines were installed. So the teams, different teams at the company, they were looking for tools. And they engaged with an organization that would help them create a short list of applications. And once they had that, they were like, okay, so what? Now we have these applications that are a fit, but how would we find out more? Still have the manual process and going to the websites and find out more. And that's when they discovered AppSource. They went to AppSource, and they were looking for project management, and they actually found the one that I showed earlier. They were looking at ProRM, Fast Start. And they'd already made a decision to go with Dynamics 365. So that really was a plus, because they knew that it was not a disconnected solution. They then reached out to ProRM Fast Start, and they have actually also identified other solutions and approaches that they could take to even be more connected in the future. And I really like the quote that Dr. Markus Sauer mentioned when we talked to him. He said, we're never done. We're never done implementing. We're never done improving our processes. And so they saw that AppSource was a really good way to actually come back once they're done with their current project to even get better and continuously improve. This case study, if you're interested in learning more, the AppSource, on the AppSource blog, it was just published today. You can read more about their story. So with that, I'd like to recap. I want to share again why AppSource. It's really easy for business users to find an app, and then for ISVs to reach out to more organizations to actually scale globally, and then for implementation partners to assist with the implementation. Then also keep in mind, we just launched the availability of consulting services offerings in the US, and you will see them rolling out more globally. So with that, if you haven't visited AppSource, I'd like to invite you to go to AppSource, look for applications to learn more. You can try an app. When you try an app, you also send your contact information to us, and you can receive the monthly newsletter to stay on top of news and customer stories and stories related and news related to products that we showcase on AppSource. Then you can follow us on Twitter. We provide updates on apps as they become available. And while you are at Ignite, we are at the expo. We have a table there where you can stop by and try an app. And then if you're interested in learning how to actually enable a test drive, then there is a session this afternoon. It's in the other building, room W240 at 3:15, and it walks you through the entire experience and how to enable actually a test drive if that's something that you're interested in. Now with that, if you like the session or have any feedback, we'd like to hear from you. So it would be great if you could take a moment to provide your feedback. And I believe we have a few minutes. If you have any questions, you can ask them, or I'm still around here. You could also meet me here and have a one-on-one conversation. Yes?
The sessions at the room 240, is
yeah.
that for customer or for ISVs?
It's focused more on ISVs. It's for this, the question was, is the session that I just pointed out more interesting for customers or ISVs? It's focused on ISVs, for everyone who wants to actually publish an application and enable a test drive experience. Okay, as I mentioned, I'm going to be around a little bit longer. Thank you so much for joining me today, and enjoy the rest of the conference.